Hello. That was good. Hi guys, if you are new here, my name is Alyssa Brianna. I am a small business owner of Fabulous Boutique, which is a company that sells safety keychains and a whole bunch of other safety products. Okay, I'm gonna link that in my description. Make sure y'all use code YouTube if you're gonna shop with me. I've had this business for a little over 3 years. So today is August 9th, 2023. I started July 7th, 2020. In the smack middle of COVID. Was it pretty risky? Yes, but it turned out to work in my favor. So before we even get into the 5 things I wish I knew before starting my business, I feel like we should go into just a little bit of my background when it comes to business, because this does play a vital part into the things that I wish I knew. So I started my business when I was 21 years old. I'm now 24. Absolutely no business experience. I was in school full-time, but not for business. I was a psych major, never took a business class in my entire life. Okay, I still haven't to this day. My parents, not business owners, they were teen parents, and they never even went to college, let alone run a whole business. They work regular jobs. My dad's a mailman. My mom was a medical assistant. She now works for me full-time. And then all of my grandparents, straight from Puerto Rico, so they're not running businesses. They're just living normal lives. And I'm the oldest sibling, so there's no like older siblings that I can go to and say, hey, do you know how to do this? There was absolutely nobody around me, not a single soul who has anything to do with business. Like, nobody knew what they were doing, including myself. Why did I want to start a business? I just had the idea once I was harassed on campus by a staff member. That's just like the very short summary. If you guys want to make a whole separate video as to why I started my business, I could do that. Just let me know in the comment section. Yeah, that's essentially why I wanted to start this business. I just was harassed and I was like, you know what, I need to like start carrying safety stuff on me, and that's what kind of inspired me to start doing safety keychains. And I started off selling just on Facebook to friends and family, strictly just people I knew. So I didn't really think anything of it. I wasn't like, oh, business. I was like, no, like I could just start doing this just to make a little extra money on the side because I'm a broke college student. But once I saw that it was doing really well, like I couldn't keep anything in stock, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just start Etsy, because Etsy, I've heard of it. Like I've shopped from there before. I was like, you know what? Like it seems pretty easy. I'll just put some things on Etsy, and this is how I can make my money in the middle of COVID, because as you know, everybody was losing their jobs. I didn't lose my job, thank God, but at the time I was working as a nanny and I quit because there was little kids spitting on me, and like I said, middle of COVID, not trying to get COVID. So my mom made me quit. I was broke. So that's why I was like, you know what, I can just make a little extra money, do this Etsy for fun. Again, not thinking anything of it. Blew up, yada yada yada. Here I am with my business today. So that's just a little summary. And just the FYI, like I said, I had no help. I just kind of researched everything on my own via YouTube and TikTok, and I would just kind of wing it. For this video specifically, I want to talk about the financial things that I wish I knew, because I'm sure all my other business owners can relate. There's a million things that you wish you knew before starting, because it would save you so much time and money, especially money. I've lost so much money making these mistakes. So if you guys want like a part 2, like 5 things I wish I knew about marketing, 5 things I wish I knew about making a website, just things like that. I can just make so many other alternative videos besides this financial one, but I just thought the financial one was the most important, because if you have no money, you can't run a business. Let's get into thing number 1 that I wish I knew before starting my business: separating your personal account from your business account. I cannot stress this enough. Before you buy anything, as soon as you come up with the idea in your head, you know what, I want to start selling flowers, don't buy anything, don't do anything besides going to the bank and making yourself a little business account, okay? it just makes everything so much easier. Like I said, I was working as a nanny and then I quit. But a few months after, I started working as a receptionist. So I was getting money from my receptionist job. Then I'm getting money from Etsy. But then I'm also spending money. Oh, I just bought some food. Oh, I just bought this shirt. Oh, I just bought a keychain. I just bought poly mailers. So everything's in one account. And at first it was fine because like I wasn't making that much money. But after a few months, it started to get a little stressful. And I'm like, how much money do I have for my car? How much money do I have to buy food? How much money do I have to spend on keychains? I lost track of everything. So I do not recommend combining your personal and business, okay? Even if it's like for Etsy, just make a separate account. Even if you don't want to go make a business account, just have 2 separate bank accounts. That's what I did at first. I learned my lesson. I was like, let's make 2 separate bank accounts. And then once I went on later in 2020 to start my own website, I was like, you know what? Let me go make a real business account. So whether it's business or just 2 separate accounts, do not combine the personal and the business, okay? That is tip number 1. Tip number 2, 3, and 4 all kind of go hand on hand. So I'm gonna say what the tips are and then I'll backtrack and kind of explain and link them up, if that makes sense. So tip number 2 is keeping receipts for everything, okay? Tip number 3, write off everything that you possibly can. And tip number 4 is put money aside for taxes. So before we even get into this, I should have said this in the beginning. I have never filed taxes in my entire life before running my business. My parents would just do it for me. And think about it, I would just have like Old Navy, hostess, bus girl, just like little jobs that you're not really making that much money. So they would just do it for me. I had no idea how taxes worked, nothing, right? Taxes, what are those? Don't know. So that's why I didn't keep receipts for everything. That's number 2, keeping receipts for everything. Didn't keep any receipts. I hate receipts, okay? Is anybody like me where you get a receipt, you're like, oh, thank you, crumple it up, throw it away. I just hate having all this paper. It just gives me anxiety. Like, no, I don't want a receipt. So every time before my business, they were like, oh, do you want a receipt? No, keep it, goodbye, sayonara, right? I didn't know anything. I had no idea, right? Like, whatever. And this leads into tip number 3, which is write off everything. If you are a new business owner, okay, let me explain what a write-off is, because I didn't know what it was, because like I said, there was nobody there to explain what these things were to me. Like when I was watching videos on businesses, I heard them say write-offs, but I didn't truly understand what it was. And it's not like I had a teacher, like, oh, hey teacher, what does write-off mean? There was nobody there to help me to explain what a write-off was. So now I am here to help you. What a write-off is basically an expense that you're writing off for your business. Let's take an example, super simple example. So I sell safety keychains, other safety products. However, I just had to go and buy some printer paper to go print out the shipping labels of people ordering. I can write off this paper. So let's say I spent $10 on this paper. I keep the receipt, and when it's time for tax season, I tell the government, hey, I didn't actually make $100, I made $90 because I spent $10 on this paper. So they will only charge you those taxes on the $90 instead of the full $100. Does that make sense? Another example is, if we want to break it down even simpler, let's say I made $10 the whole year, right? We're just using a really small number. I made $10 the whole year running my business. But I spent $5 on like paper, on my keychains, on rent, okay? $5. So again, you keep those receipts on everything you spent for your business and you tell the government, I didn't make $10. No, I only made $5. So they will only charge you taxes on those $5. That is so important. You don't want to be charged taxes on things, on money that you're not even making because you're spending that money to keep running your business. I really hope I'm making sense, you guys. I'm trying to simplify it. Like, because I wish that somebody had said these things to me when I first started in 2020. And not keeping my receipts ended up biting me in my culo, okay? Because it was tax season. But again, I didn't even know what tax season was, y'all. Like, I was just so oblivious to anything when it comes to money and financials. So it was around February. My mom was like, oh, like, you know, you should really schedule to do your taxes. And I'm like, what? Like, you gotta schedule that? Like, what do you do? So she gave me her tax lady. I'm still with this tax lady to this day. She's like, here's your appointment, go talk to her. So I ended up talking to the tax lady. She's like, okay, like, you know, tell me how much you made. So I tell her I have my Etsy forms. She's like, okay. It's like, do you have any write-offs? I'm like, no. So I ended up getting charged taxes for the full money I made, but really I didn't make that much. And I ended up, I'm gonna be very transparent, I ended up paying, I think, over $20,000 in taxes my very first year. So in 2021, I get choked up every time I think about it, y'all. Over 20,000, and that's a lot of money, y'all. Do you know what you could do with $20,000? I could go buy me a car. That's a down payment on a house. There's a lot. That is a lot. So yeah, don't do what I did. After that, I learned my lesson, okay? After I paid up that 20+ grand, I said, oh, every receipt, give it to me now. It's going in my purse. I kept track of it. Like, I was on top of it after that. So do not do that. And then tip number 4 that I wish I knew before starting my business is put money aside for taxes. That plays into the $20,000 that I paid, because I wasn't saving money. I was like, oh my gosh, I have money, like I can go buy this, I can go buy that. I was putting majority of the money back into my business. I wasn't saving anything for taxes, because I didn't know, you guys. I know I probably sound like an idiot, like it probably sounds like common sense, but it's not common sense when like you don't know anything, like at all, like nothing, zip, nada, okay? So put money aside for taxes, so that way when tax season rolls around, you're like, okay, I have this lump sum of money that I have waiting. And honestly, I would oversave, right? So let's say you're estimating like, oh, like, you know what, maybe I'm gonna owe $5,000 in taxes. Save a couple extra thousand more just in case something goes wrong. And, you know, you just never know, okay? Just take it from me, please. And that was my first year paying taxes, okay? It has not gotten easier since then. Just a warning, the more money you make, the more taxes you owe. And the 5th and final thing that I wish I knew before starting my business was to open a business credit card immediately. So same thing I said, go start, like, before you even buy anything, go make that business account. I'm gonna need you to go make that business account and go open up a business credit card while you're at it. Actually, don't do this if you're the type of person to just go through your credit limit like crazy. Don't do that. So I have had a credit card since I was like 16, 17. My mom opened one for me, but she was so strict with how I can use it. She was like, only use it for emergencies, right? And she just wanted me to build my credit, which I didn't know at the time because I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know about credit. But the perks of opening your own business credit card is obviously it helps your credit, because, like, you know, you're putting money on there, you're paying it off, it shows you're reliable, yada yada yada. But the most important thing about me opening my business credit card is that I had so many rewards, you guys. If you're new here and you're like me, you're an idiot and you don't I'm gonna treat you guys as if you know nothing about nothing. When you open a credit card, how it works is you open this card and the company will say, okay, we'll give you a $1,000 limit, which means you can spend up to $1,000 on whatever it is you want on the credit card, okay? But you have to pay it back. If you don't pay it back, they're gonna start charging interest. So let's say you blew the whole $1,000 and you don't pay it back. They'll start adding on hundreds of dollars until you pay it back, okay? This is just basic, we're going back to the basics, because I wish somebody had explained these things to me. And before you think, I didn't run up my credit card, okay? I've actually been really smart with my credit cards, thank God. I didn't realize how many rewards you get from credit cards. So let's say you spent $1,000 on that $1,000 limit. They'll give you, maybe it's a point per dollar. You just got 1,000 points. Okay, you're like, what do the points do? Each credit card is different. The points, you can get cash back. You can spend it on flights, hotels, gift cards. It just depends all on the credit card company. So my biggest credit card would be my American Express, and I use my points for flights and hotels. Let me tell you how many free vacations I've gone on simply because I have a business credit card. So I just think about it like this. I'm spending all this money anyways. I have to buy packaging supplies for my business. I have to buy keychains for my business. I have to buy paper for my business. So if I'm already spending this money, why not put it on my credit card, rack up my points, and then just pay it off immediately? Because I have the money in my checking account, but I want my credit card points. So that's how I do it. I spend $1,000 on my card, I'm paying that $1,000 off immediately. And because I spend so much on my business, I get so many points, you guys. I've spent, I think, 3 or 4 nights at a 5-star resort in Puerto Rico completely for free with credit card points. The flight to Puerto Rico, completely for free. I stayed in Vegas this year, completely for free. Flight to Vegas, completely for free. So if you want free vacations, or if you just want the cash back, my American Express won't give me cash back, but my other cards will. So yeah, whatever it is you want, go get the bag, girl. Go get that credit card. But like I said, don't get the credit card if you're just gonna blow all the money on it and not pay it back, because you're gonna ruin your credit score that way. But sorry if I was kind of all over the place. I just have like, every time I mention something I wish I knew, it just sparks an idea in my head of like, oh yeah, I wish I knew that too. But we're gonna save those for other videos. If this was helpful for you, please let me know, you guys, because like I said for the millionth time in this video, I wish that somebody had sat down and told me these things when I first started my business, okay? It would have saved me just alone that $20,000 that I gave to the government for taxes my first year. I'm still salty about that, y'all. I will never forget that. I will never. I'm gonna be in my deathbed like, oh, $20,000. I could really use that right now. Like, don't be me, okay? Do not do what I did. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.